let me take you back in time. Think back to the pandemic days for a moment. It was a dark time, definitely, and it was confusing. There was a lot of isolation. Well, Melissa Cannioto knows that feeling all too well. Local military wife, through her own deployment experiences, and actually her husband as well, she's seen firsthand the effect on young people and decided to publish her first children's book to help.
It's so cool. And it's actually called The Bear in the Hug. It's a tale that aims to resonate with those confused by COVID periods of deployment, illness, when hugs really weren't an option. She's joining us now live in studio. We're so excited to have her in here. We've been chatting in the interim too. It's been a lot of fun to get to know you, but we're going to introduce you to our viewers out there who don't know much about you. If you could tell us about your background, your connection to Colorado.
Yes, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Really cool to have that chinwag with you. And I mean, you can probably tell I'm not from around these parts.
What'd you say, chinwag?
Chinwag.
Oh, I like that.
It's a chit chat. Chinwag.
Right.
So I'm originally from England, from a little town called Thatcham. And I came over to the US a few years ago to further my study, and I met my wonderful husband through his sister, and he went to the Air Force Academy. He's lived through his whole life. Colorado means so much to him, and we actually got married up in Grand Lake.
Oh, you're kidding.
No way.
We love Grand Lake.
Right,
Yeah.
the Wyoming
beautiful.
River Ranch up there. It's
Stunning.
If you haven't been, it's a gorgeous place. And yes, so now we live that Air Force life and love being in the mountains.
Okay.
It means a lot of traveling around, I'm sure.
A lot of traveling.
But let's dive into the book here, A Bear and the Hug. This, I was looking through this. The illustrations are awesome. Did you do those?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But tell me about the premise of this.
Yes, so The Bear and the Hug, it's about a bear who wakes up from hibernation to a world where hugs do not exist. So I can't
Sounds
even imagine,
familiar.
right?
A couple years ago.
So it all stemmed from the pandemic, evidently, and it was such a crazy time for a lot of people. And I was actually a nanny during that time on the Air Force Base, and my husband was deployed, and it was a time of confusion. It was a time of separation, and a lot of those children would ask those questions that are really hard to answer, right? Those difficult conversations. And I did an English degree, so I was like, why don't I write a poem to try and explain what is happening in the world right now? And The Bear and the Hug came out, and it got spread around the base, and the parents tried to encourage me to publish the book. So here we are.
Here we are, sitting on Great Day Colorado. It's absolutely amazing. And I wanted to also ask you, how does the book really relate to military life, military families and kids?
Yes, so like I said, my husband's a pilot in the Air Force, and we've gone through so many deployments together. And we've also seen firsthand a lot of the families that we love, that the children, they don't know why they can't hug their dad, their mom, their aunt, their uncle. And the fact that in this book, Bear can't hug and he can't have that physical connection with the ones he loves most kind of resonates. And I've had great feedback from a lot of military families about how that talks to that. And we know that the best hug in the entire world is military homecoming. That hug, like the anxiety of coming at the airport and like counting down and knowing that you haven't seen them for months, sometimes a year, and finally getting that hug, like, cannot be beaten. So that's kind of where that hug concept came from.
Oh, gosh. I love it. And I love that you did your own illustrations here. I asked you earlier if you had kids, and you said no. But you do have a lot of kids in your life. So we have Chloe, Oakley, and Quinn, who you kind of base this off of, as well as Addison and Arabella.
Yeah.
So very cool. I love the concept of this.
Thank you.
And you've gotten rave reviews, too. You were telling us about them, in our
it won an award,
break.
right?
Yes, it just won the Golden Wizard Book Prize
nice.
for Children's Excellence, which mind
Yeah.
blown.
You're crushing it, Melissa.
I
You're
don't know
crushing
about that. I don't know about it. It just came from a little poem.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being in the Great Day Colorado studios. I looked on Amazon.
Yeah.
These books are almost sold out, so you guys have to get on there. All right, so The Bear and the Hug is what we're talking about today, available right now on Amazon and, of course, Barnes & Noble. You can also follow the book on Instagram at bear.hug.book. We want to say thank you again to Melissa and her entire family that's in studio today for supporting her and, of course, for coming in here. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks, Melissa.
Absolutely.